Alright, what's going on, everybody? So this weekend we get UFC 317, which should be a very stacked card overall. So I'll be breaking down the matchups and giving my predictions and how I think the fights will go. But real quick, before I get into the video, 97% of you guys aren't subscribed, so if you like UFC, pro boxing, or Misfits boxing content, I post 2 to 4 times a week on this channel at least, so make sure you guys subscribe. I appreciate you. If you guys are new to the channel, Yep. If you guys are new to the channel, I skipped the fights I'm not entirely sure I could accurately predict. So I'm just predicting the last 3 fights. Hope you guys don't mind. Alright, so the first fight that I'm going to be talking about is Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. Now, this has potential to be fight of the night for sure. This is a great matchup, even though you could say that Joshua Van's getting thrown into a big matchup a little too soon. This is a last-minute fight because Manel Kape was supposed to fight Brandon Royval, and that fell through. So Joshua Van coming up on very short notice. He just had a fight not too long ago versus Bruno Silva, where he looked very good in. And Brandon Royval is also coming off a win where he said that he had a bad concussion from, so he took some time off because of that. The reason why this is a very good matchup is because they both have very good boxing. And I don't even want to say just boxing for Brandon Royval because he has very nice kicks. And overall, just a very unique striker that finds very unique ways to hit you. I just feel like his main problem is he is way too open to hit, which is, I think, a very key factor to this fight because Joshua Van has sharper boxing, in my opinion. He has very good hands, and he can catch you at any time. He is very good at counter shots, too. He is very good at slipping and catching you with a counter shot, so that could be very dangerous for Brandon Royval. It's because he leaves his hands so open, and he leaves his head so open, and he always seems to whale shots and make him very loopy, which leaves his chin wide open. But that is not the only way he can win the fight because Brandon Royval also has very good jiu-jitsu. He has finished multiple opponents because of that, one being the co-main event, Kai Kara-France. So Brandon Royval is very proven in the division. I'm so sorry that I'm having stroke this take. Hopefully I don't keep stuttering the rest of this. But Joshua Van has shown to have very good takedown defense. So I think he will be okay, and I think on the feet it will be very, very drastic just because how open Brandon Royval is. Don't get me wrong, he has very good striking, like I said. I just have a very good feeling that Joshua Van is going to counter him and hurt him. Because we have seen Brandon Royval get hurt before. He's gotten dropped multiple times in his career, so that's not that ridiculous to say. But you could also say the same thing about Joshua Van because he lost to Johnson by an uppercut where he also got dropped and TKO'd. So they have both proven that they can get dropped and they both can strike very well. So in that aspect of the fight, you could go either way. I just feel like Joshua Van is a lot better defensively with his head movement and his blocking. And I think Brandon Royval will just be there to be hit. So I think this is going to be a very good fight for, I would say, 2 rounds. And then I say that Joshua Van catches Brandon Royval with a counter shot in round 3 and TKOs him, which will be a huge win for him, by the way. That will shoot him up the rankings, and I would like it because I like Joshua Van as a prospect. So, yeah, I'm picking Joshua Van by TKO in round 3. All right, now for the co-main event of the evening, Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara-France. Now, I don't really understand this matchmaking, I'm not going to lie, because Kara-France has only won 1 of his last 3 fights, and he won his last one versus Steve Erceg. And that was a great performance. Don't get me wrong, it was a round 1 finish. But I think this isn't gonna be close because they've actually fought before. Pantoja and Kara-France have fought on The Ultimate Fighter, where Alexandre Pantoja really dominated him in that fight. He instantly took Kara-France down and picked him apart at range with leg kicks, and Kara-France was not able to close his distance the entire time. Yeah, I just see it happening very similarly because even though Kara-France is so dangerous and explosive on the feet, and he has some extreme power in that straight right hand and that right hand in general, he just, I don't know, he isn't great, and Pantoja has really ran through everybody in the division. Pantoja is great on the feet and on the ground. I think this fight could go exactly the same, I'm not going to lie to you, because Pantoja's footwork is just so good. I could just see Kara-France not being able to close distance and either getting too eager and getting caught or getting taken down. I honestly think this is a mismatch. Because there were times on The Ultimate Fighter where Kara France was able to get away from Pantoja's takedowns, but time has gone by, and I don't think that will be the case anymore because Pantoja really can smother you on the ground and keep you there for a very long time until the finish just presents itself to him, or he will just hold you there. Hopefully it's not that type of fight. I won't be happy about it, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's going to be dominant enough where he's going to be able to get the finish in. He's just so elite on the ground. Even if you're on top of him, he can reverse position, and I don't think that'll be Kara France's strategy anyways. He's going to try to land a big shot and end the fight like that because that's his strength. And I see him getting too overeager, getting taken down from it, but he could even get counter-shotted and dropped because of it, because Pantoja has some power too. So, I'm not going to lie to you. I think this could be a round 1 finish for Pantoja, but I feel like that's a little too unlikely just because it's UFC and they're high-level fighters. So I want to say round 1 finish, but I'm going to say round 3 submission by Alexandre Pantoja. But if it happens in round 1, too, I want to say I called it because I think Kara France is going to come in over-aggressive because I feel like that's his only chance, to be honest, trying to close the distance because Pantoja's footwork is going to be away from Kara France the entire fight. And I think the takedown will just be there eventually. So I think a submission is going to happen in between rounds 1 and 3. I don't think it happens to go to the later rounds. I think Alexander Pantoja will submit Kara France in round 3. All right, now for the main event of the evening. Ilia Topuria versus Charles the Bronx Olivera. Now, fuck. I like both fighters, I really do, but this man Charles Oliveira really gets hurt in every single fight. It seems like he almost dies every single fight, it seems like. And this is not the guy to get hurt by and expect to come back like Charles usually does. Because to be fair to Charles, he always seems to come back after he gets hurt in his fights. Now, I think this fight will be interesting early. I think that Charles will be able to get Ilia down. Don't get me wrong. Excuse me, jeez. Acid reflux, I'm talking about the main event, I guess. My body hates what I'm about to say about what's going to happen to Charles Oliveira. So, Charles, I see him being able to get Ilia down, and he's going to, like, have Ilia's back for, like, the first 3 rounds, where he's going to out-grapple Ilia, then everybody can be like, oh my god, Charles is about to win this fight. But, as soon as it starts getting standing up, I think Charles will be able to keep his distance, don't get me wrong. I think he'll be able to circle around and not get hit by everything that Ilia throws. But as soon as he gets against the cage, it's over. That's how I look at this fight. As soon as Charles Oliveira has his back against the cage, it's over. But Charles is dangerous on his back. If he doesn't get knocked out cold, there is a real chance that Charles somehow counters into a submission if Ilia goes for the TKO. But it's very hard to imagine just because Ilia is so vicious on the ground too. Is very underrated. He has very vicious ground and pounds. And people forget he submitted Bryce Mitchell, who was elite on the ground too. So yeah, it's not looking good. It is not looking good no matter how the fight goes. There is even a chance that Ilia reverses position and submits Charles, which I think is a very slim possibility. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there really is a chance just because Ilia is so physical, and people forget that he is naturally like 180 pounds, so he's still cutting weight for this fight, and he's still going to be very strong. I don't think he's going to be drained whatsoever for this fight, or I don't think that his power isn't going to be as great at this weight class. I think it can be even better. Just because the way he sets up his shots, the body shot upstairs, the power he brings, he just puts people to sleep. And like I said, Charles gets hurt by Dustin, Michael Chandler, who also hit pretty hard. But they aren't as technical and sharp as Ilia Topuria is. So, like I was saying, I think that this fight is going to be close the first 2 or 3 rounds because of the grappling. I think it's going to be back and forth on the ground. And I think as soon as Charles ends up getting against cage, which I think he'll be able to avoid the first 3 rounds, I think he's going to get pieced up and knocked out cold. I think out cold because his chin, man, it's just suspect. It really is. So I don't necessarily want Charles to get knocked out cold. I just think that Ilia is badass. And he is slowly building up his resume. He has an unreal resume. Volkanovski, Holloway, now Charles Oliveira. That is a goated resume. And he is really building up a GOAT conversation. Especially if he goes up and beats Islam, he is the GOAT, period. So I really hope that's next after Islam beats JDM, because that's what I think is going to happen. People say defend your title, but if he keeps getting super fights, I don't see why not keep feeding him super fights. The UFC needs it right now anyways. So I think Charles' only chance is somehow Ilia getting overeager and Charles counters him, or Charles catches him in a triangle choke off of Ilia trying to TKO him. But Ilia's ground and pound is just too vicious. If Charles isn't out by the time his shot lands upstairs, he's going to be out cold by the time he TKOs him on the ground. So I'm going to say round 3 TKO for Ilia Topuria. And I think they set up a super fight between Islam and Ilia Topuria. Let me know if you guys agree down below. But those are my predictions for UFC 317. If you disagree with any of my takes, please let me know down below. If you guys like the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications for all of that. If you want to see more out of me, I post 3 to 4 times a week at least. So I appreciate all of you. My phone's having storage issues, so I'm going to wrap it up quick. If you want to follow my socials, it's down in the description. I appreciate all of you. That's all I got to say, man. Thank you guys for listening to me yap like usual. God bless every single one of you. And peace out.
Yeah, they call me fucking pain. You steady fucking switching, stay up in your fucking lane. And shorty super soaker, I can hit your ass from range. Shorty throwing ass and you knowing where it going. Steady sipping codeine, yeah, you knowing in my potion. That ass is like Cobra, cause you throwing it in motion. Oh, we fucking lurking, oh, we creeping around and roaming. When you fucking see me, yeah, our mouth is fucking foaming. Pull up to the club and we getting really